Okay. Now I'd like to open the floor to questions. I'd urge everyone to keep their questions and points brief. I think we start a little bit late, so we can maybe run a tiny bit after 12. But I'm conscious the ambassador has other appointments. So,
my name is Peter Tash. In a previous life, I got my thesis, got report in Northern Ireland. The problem is, I see, is contested identities, and when I hear things, oh, go back, because that's what I counted. Go back south of the border, go back to Scotland and England, while people have been living there for hundreds of years in the same area. That is no solution. I mean, you have to accept, that there is border people. Abyei and the Dinkanok are border people, are sharing the same area, have a contested identity, but their identity is equally valid. And if you don't, if you can't find a solution for that, then you're back to continue this issue. Because Sarah makes very practical issues, and I know what she was talking about between Mali and the Islamic Republic of Mauritania. People can solve that, but if you can't, and it seems to me that the SPLM is going for a very narrow definition of what the identity of the new state will be.
Great, thank you. I'll take a couple more questions.
Thank you very much. My name is Dr. Daniel Peter. I'm the representative of the government of Southern Sudan in UK. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Well, as the subject matter is, I really believe that Abyei is the litmus test for Sudan peace. I'm not sure what color will that litmus paper show from now until July. My reading of the situation at this point in time is that the litmus paper is tilting to the acidity. That's to say, it's getting red. It's important that the two partners which are concerned with the issue of Abyei have to put the safety of the people of Sudan first and foremost. In that, I would like to see that an amicable solution is found toward the solution of Abyei before the 9th of July. Because as the 9th of July comes, the people of Southern Sudan will not wait a minute to see that Southern Sudan is declared as an independent state. And likewise, they would like to see that Abyei is declared as part of Southern Sudan. At the present point in time, people seem to be singing song of war. And both presidents have said many times that they do not want to take Sudan back to war. But we have to create an atmosphere whereby we don't go back to war. I have said on many occasions that if we cannot find an amicable solution to this problem, because we have gone to the egg before, it is about time that we take the solution of Abyei to the United Nations, so that we get a resolution that suits everybody. If at all any of the parties does not want to take it to United Nations, we have to go down to the basics and convince ourselves why we want to take it at this point in time to the United Nations. Simply because we do not want to endanger the life of the people of Southern Sudan again. We've been at war since 1956, and I'm sure every person in Southern Sudan and Northern Sudan has seen the consequences, the devastating kind of results of war. So many of them have been born in the war period. They grew up there, they died there, and I think it is about time we don't take them back to war. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'll take one more. Ambassador.
Yes, thank you very much. First of all, I'd like to thank the ODI for organizing this important event. And special thanks has to go also to the two speakers, Aldirdiri and Sarah. And a very special event to Arab, okay? And I really admire his dramatic abilities. Although he was very sensational when he was talking, and I don't agree with a lot of the points that he put, because he distorted a lot of historical facts in Sudan. Nevertheless, I would like to express my optimism that we will reach an amicable and peaceful settlement for this Abyei issue. My government have solved the war that was dragging on for almost 50 years. It was the longest war in Africa, and the Sudanese still have the ability to solve this Abyei problem. I don't think we need to bring it to the UN. Let the UN solve the problem in Afghanistan, in Iraq, and other areas that are already overburdened. I don't think they wouldn't be more able than us to solve our own problems. I would like to ask my brother Arab to one question. In the light of the fact that in the wealth sharing agreement, the agreement stated that the Miseria in Abyei should be given 22% of the revenue of the oil, one. And in the fact that also the power sharing agreement stated that the Miseria should administer Abyei area jointly with the Ninka. And in light of the third fact that there is special, protocol for Abyei because of its special nature. In light of all these facts, okay, how can we exclude the Miseria from any settlement? Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I'll ask the two speakers to respond to these three questions first. So just to summarize, I think there was a point around recognizing border identity, recognizing the question of the United Nations, but do you want to take the question on from the ambassador first? And then I'll turn to you, sir, for the...
Okay, no problem.
Okay.
Yeah, it is very good, Ambassador, to have brought this question. There is a document which is before the National Congress and the SPLM, in which it is suggested that the Masiri will continue to get their share of oil. And not only that, in the power sharing, it is 50 to the government, 52 to the north, and 48 to the south, 42. So it is to be reversed. It has been suggested that it must be reversed, that the 50 will be given to to the government of Southern Sudan and 40 to National Congress. And two, the Miseria, we will have something called migratory commission in Abyei area, whereby the Miseria will have their representative in Abyei administration. Because after all, we know them, they are Awlad Kamil, Awlad Mazagni. They are very few. They can be represented in Abyei, we have no problem. But we hate somebody coming from Fula, 300 miles away like Ambassador Didiri. This is where things become problems. Because the Miseria is become a racist idea. And I can accuse him of tribalism and racism. Why should the Miseria be more than others? Let them be allowed to interact with the Ngok Dinka. After all, some of the Miseria are blacker than we are. And therefore, they have lost. Of course, there are reasons, circumstances why they became black. But that is not the issue now here. The issue that if they are Sudanese like us, we have Africans. Why don't we share things? Why do they insist an area of 50 miles? And by the way, I was in Berlin 1974 when I decided to go. That time, any member of Arab world must report to the police 30 days before departure from Berlin. I didn't. I thought I was not an Arab. So my friend, we went to the plane. Then announcement was 2 Arabs on board have not completed the migration. And 2 Arabs became me and my cousin, Benjamin Warele. Benjamin reacted, hey, I am black. I'm not Arab. He said, yes, but you have Arab passport. So these are the problems, you see. We don't. The Northern Sudanese must be progressive. Let us rescue what is left of Sudan. Because if you don't do it, then there will be no more, even Northern Sudan, there will not be there. Because there are the Nubas there are the Ingazana and so on. So let us cool down, try to rescue Miseria, because they are threatened. They are moving with cows, millions of cows, to a hostile territory. How do you rescue?
Let me move now to the ambassador to cover that point.
Yeah, thank you very much.
So we can share oil with them. It is there in document.
Thank you very much. It's good that Arab that why the material is black is not in question here. Otherwise, we will delve into an area which definitely will add to the discussions. There's so many discussions we have in Sudan which you don't like to continue. I will take up the issue of the issue presented by the Honorable O'Toole on why not to refer the Abyei dispute to the UN. In fact, I don't know exactly what the Honorable O'Toole means by that. I don't think the UN will accept the idea or will welcome the idea of referring this dispute to them and asking them to resolve it. And I have never heard of the UN resolving any such dispute. I represented the government of Sudan in the last UN Security Council session on Abyei, on Sudan, let's say on the 14th of November, and what we got from the Security Council is a resolution, or rather a presidential announcement that asks us as parties to resolve the issue. And this is what the UN is always trying to do, to ask the parties to resolve the issue. If we resolve the issue, that's fine. If we fight, then they will bring peacekeeping forces. But I never heard of them resolving any issue, and they don't have, even under Chapter 7, the authority to impose any solution on any party. I think this room is full of lawyers and maybe also political scientists and so on and so forth. I have never heard of something like this before. If the Honorable O'Toole is speaking about a peacekeeping mission that shall be under the UN oversight, we already have one. UNMISS is already there on the ground, and I think they are doing a very good job. If they want their mandate to be expanded, if they want more forces, I think they can negotiate that with the parties. But nonetheless, the dispute will still continue as it is, and the parties will be the ones to try to resolve it. I thank Dr. Sarah for her wonderful presentation. I think this issue, although this is the most important issue in the Abyei dispute, that's to say the issue of movement from one part of the country to the other part by pastoralists, and how it is being handled in other parts of Africa and even worldwide, is very important and really not well researched, particularly when it comes to the Abyei dispute in particular. I think definitely this is an approach that we shall try to take and try to use in convincing the local communities that this is the way forward. This is how you shall live, regardless of whatever solutions we can have at the political level. You have to coexist. You have to intermingle. You have to move freely. You have to live together. That's definitely the way we shall go. I agree fully with Mr. Peter that it is an issue of contested identity, and that those two identities are equally valid. If we just say this to the people in the area, and if the two parties just accept this very basic wisdom, I think definitely this will be already 50% of the solution. Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah. Take 3 more questions. So.
Yes, I'm sorry, I will have to sit down.
No problem.
Yes. Thank you very much indeed for giving me this opportunity.
Could you just introduce yourself?
My name is Zachariah Boldeng. By the way, I come from Abyei area, son of Deng Majok Kwal. Now, I would like to thank both speakers, Aldirdiri and Narok, for having given us a very enlightened history. Really, in the Sudan, we must at last come to peace. when Bashir went to Juba and announced what he did, we thought that at last there would be peace and that he would actually solve all the problems, because it's no use solving a problem. You know, an elephant is not happy if it has got a thorn in his leg, you see. Abyei would be a thorn, and that elephant would not be very happy. So I think we were hoping for a comprehensive peace. Now, the issue of Abyei is actually a problem that has been going on since 1905.
Can I ask you to come to a point or question? I'm conscious we're
Yeah,
short of
because there has
time.
been fighting all along, you see, and that's what resulted in 1972 referendum award for the Abyei area, which was not implemented by Numeri. Numeri tried.
So I'll have to ask you to bring a question to the panel.
Yes, it's not a question alone. I have to comment because I come from the area and I've been with it for a long time. Now let me quickly go through. Yeah. So the whole idea was to annex Abyei to Kordofan, not because we are, you know, so friendly with the Misiri and so on. There's no really intermarriage, to be quite frank. But Numeri wanted Abyei to be in Kordofan because of the oil. Because the oil was discovered in 1970.
I'll have to ask you to come to a question.
Now, the question is, now, he mixed me up now. Now, the question is, you talk about the bridge between, that Abyei is a bridge, which was mentioned by Arum Badr, my brother. Now, Abyei happens to be at the borders. Really is a shield between the north and the south. Abyei has been shielding the south, because if it was not for Abyei, Nigeria would have ended up in Gogrial or Wow or anywhere. Now, yes, there was. Yeah, the question of the Abyei issue has been actually passed on from ABC resolution, which was supposed to have taken place immediately, then to the PCA, the Permanent Court.
So I'll have to end you there, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
So I'm conscious we have other people who want to make an
yeah.
intervention.
So the issue of Abyei should be very simple, and I was hoping that Aldirdiri, being a lawyer, should have actually helped in solving this problem.
Great.
And I
thank you very
hope
much.
that you will come to that.
Let me move the microphone to Dr. Gandor here.
Yeah, thank you very much, and thanks to the three speakers and to Udi for this opportunity. And Professor Ibrahim, I represent the NCP here. And since the name of NCP has appeared many times, I'm just making a small comment. Dialogue is very important, and I find it very fruitful because today, in the last 2 days, Honorable Arab was telling us that Denka were on Halfa at the borders with Egypt, and they moved the Arabs to the south. Today he's telling us they were in Khartoum. So he moved a few miles south. I hope when we meet next day he will exactly tell us where the Denka has been. And concerning talking about the Juhayna and the Miss area being of Juhayna origin and that they came from Saudi Arabia, this is the history of all northern Sudan. The Arabs came in 600, the year 600 without their wives. They came as fighters. They were fighting against the Nubians in Alawi Kingdom, and they signed what is known the Pact Agreement, by which they stayed there. And this is the history of the whole of northern Sudan. Concerning NCP talking about war, we signed the peace, the comprehensive peace agreement in order to achieve peace. We accepted an important and a considerable part of Sudan to go and have independence for the sake of peace. We have been saying all the time that we will never go to war. We will never go to war unless it has been imposed on us. I hope that Brother Arab and other brothers, they shouldn't speak about reversing to war again or committing suicide, as I heard him saying 2 days ago. We are willing to resolve Abyei problems through negotiations. We have always been saying that we want a win-win situation, not a situation where someone goes with everything, where another person knows that he has got a right. The Miss area will not accept Abyei going to the south. The Denka will not accept it going to the north. There must be a resolution, and I'm sure there is. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Just take a question from the lady there and the gentleman over there, and then I'll ask the two speakers to wrap up.
I will respond to it.
Of course, yeah.
Can I respond?
Hold on. One question here.
Okay.
Hello, I'm Catherine Colvin. I'm clerk to the committee at the House of Lords, which is just embarking on an inquiry into the European Union and Sudan. I have two questions very quickly. One is religion does not seem to have come up in this discussion, and I wondered whether in this particular area religion is an issue, a divisive issue, not an issue at all. And secondly, do the speakers think that the European Union has any useful role to play in conflict prevention, and if so, what is it? Thank you.
Thanks. Gentleman there.
Morning, I'm Peter Mashinsky. I just wanted to ask, does the delay or the problems in resolving the Abyei issue, does that have further knock-on effects for the rest of South Kordofan and for the process of popular consultation? I mean, we had expected the Abyei referendum to have been on the 9th of January. We had expected popular consultation to have taken place by now. There haven't yet been state elections. The acting governor is indicted for war crimes. And I was also wondering about when the Permanent Court of Arbitration changed the borders of Abyei and excluded the Heglig and bamboo oil fields. Has that issue yet been resolved, or is there some justice to Goss's claims that Heglig belongs in Unity State and in the south?
Great, thanks very much. I'm conscious the ambassador has to leave urgently to get to a television interview, so I'll ask him to respond briefly now, and then you, sir, and then we'll wrap up this session.
Thank you, Rick. The issue of religion, luckily, it is not one of the issues here in this dispute at all. The Ngok Dinka chief, the current Ngok Dinka chief, is a Muslim. The former Dinka paramount chief is also a Muslim, and there is a sizable Muslim community within the Ngok Dinka. So religion is not at all an issue in this conflict. The issue of Heglig, the tribunal, the Hague Tribunal, had in fact excluded Heglig. Heglig is the main oil field in the north, which was included by the Abyei, that's to say the experts report earlier on, was excluded by the tribunal. And although the SPLM had initially said they will lay claims over Heglig as soon as the Heglig was awarded to the north, but nonetheless they did not, and we haven't got claims over Heglig right now at the 1956 borderline commission. Popular consultation in South Kordofan and the elections in Southern Kordofan, they have been delayed because there was a problem in the census. The census was not accepted by the SPLM over there, and then it has to be done again, and it has been conducted right now, and they have set now April as the time for the elections, and of course we need to conduct the elections first and to have an elected assembly in place before we start the popular consultation. The two parties are committed to conducting or to having popular consultation in Southern Kordofan, and they are both happy with this arrangement which we currently have. The popular consultation has already taken place in Blue Nile. I just wanted to conclude by saying we in the NCP are fully committed to the full implementation of the CPA up to the last moment, up to the 9th of July. And moreover, we are fully committed to having peace and a peaceful solution in the Abyei. We haven't pulled out at all of the Abyei protocol as it has been alleged. We are still committed to the Abyei protocol. We will implement it. We are ready to conduct the referendum on time if the SPLM accepts the American proposal on the eligibility criteria that was proposed by them, and if that proposal is accepted, definitely any people in Sudan will be able or will be happy to man the 15-man commission, which Honorable Arab said we found it difficult to agree on its formation or on its formation. If that critical issue is resolved, and if we know who will vote, definitely the commission will definitely be set at any point of time, and it will conduct the referendum. Nonetheless, and even if the referendum is not going to take place, we will continue negotiating with the SPLM until a final solution is resolved. We are only pleading with the international community to really exert maximum pressure, that's very much needed, on our SPLM colleagues not to resort to unilateral action. We have made this appeal in the UN Security Council, we have made it in the AU, and we have made it to all mediators, to General Gresham and to Thabo Mbeki, thinking that this will be really the end of peace in Sudan. If the SPLM decide, as they always announce, that they will take a unilateral action to restore Abyei to the south in lieu of a referendum, the way now the Honorable MP from Abyei is saying, then this will really be the end of peace in Sudan. We would like them to continue engaged with us, and if we continue engaged in good faith, we will arrive at a solution. Thank you very much.
Yeah, finally, I would like to appeal to the National Congress and Masiri people to have a change of heart if we have to rescue the Sudan, because the people of Abyei are settled. And Ambassador Didiri could have read that I'm a member of parliament. How did I go to parliament? It was, election was held in Abyei area by the South, and I succeeded, and we are being paid, our salaries are being paid from Juba. Until after July, when there is no presidency, there will be no CPA, there will be vacuum, so the National Congress should rescue the situation now and then. As regard to what Dr. Ibrahim said, yes, it was the National Congress who has been saying that we will never let down the Masseria. Unless you convince the Masseria, we will not give them up. So recently, after the attack in Abyei, they imagined that Abyei has already made a self-determination. They came and attacked and killed people for nothing. There was nothing signed. Okay, an appeal was made. Salva Kiir sent a delegation from Juba to tell people to calm down, and that the Masseria and the Dinka must go to Kadugli. They went. They met in Kadugli in what we call the bottom-up resolution. And I thought Dr. Ibrahim should throw some light on this. It was the base of Mu'tamar al-Watani, National Congress, to solve now the problem, because the Masseria have been convinced, they have signed it, that the whole thing must be done according to the protocol. Therefore, please, as we go back to Sudan, please let us hear good news that the Abyei is a part, is being administered. Administration. Forget about the referendum and all this kind. After all, we didn't go to the north by referendum. We were annexed. We can be restored back. And we are just citizens of Sudan. This is my appeal, that since you committed yourself, that unless the Masseria are convinced, and the Masseria are now convinced, and they have endorsed, signed by Mokhtar Babo and Kwal Deng Kwal, that you two parties solve the problem. Please solve it.
Okay. On that note, I'll draw this discussion to a close. I'd like to thank our two speakers, Ambassador Aldirdiri and the Honourable Arab. I'd like to thank Sarah Pantiliano for responding. We could have carried on for much longer, I'm sure, but I think we should all give the speakers a round of applause.